So, hello everyone. Welcome to day 59 of Learning Data Science. And what we have done yesterday in my day 58 videos, we have discussed about the encoding, basically what is meant by encoding. We have discussed all those. Yesterday we discussed about label encoding, or you can also call it as ordinal encoding. Day before yesterday we discussed about binary encoding, or you can also call it one-hot encoding, right? So basically, we have discussed all these things, and today what we are going to do, we are going to discuss about the basically the codes of that. Okay, so we'll be going to discuss about that. And before the code, I want you guys to just watch this 58 and 57-day video. Why? Because unless you don't get the theory of that, okay, so you will not understand it. Okay, so basically, first you want to know the theory behind it. Once you understand the theory, then you are going to understand each and everything. Basically, the concept, you will not be able to understand the concepts. Okay. If you will just only look into the code, right? So this basically code is designed in a such a way that you will learn everything in scratch, whether you are learning data science. So you will learn everything in scratch. So it's designed like this way. Okay. So now let's move on to our discussion. So basically, what you have to do, as we were just following with Python, I was telling you to read the mind maps. Why to read the mind map? Because it helps us to revise various things in a one go. It will not be possible for you to read each and everything, right? So I have already told how to attain this mind map, how to get this. Okay, you can just watch my previous videos. You will surely get it right. So basically, here are we. Okay, we are in the data preparation part. Yes. In data cleaning, data preparation, we are basically here, right? So if you have seen, we have talked about handling the duplicates, how we can handle the duplicates, right? Outliers treatment, 3R technique. Again, what are those 3R technique? I want you to just comment it on the comment section. Okay, what are those 3R techniques? I will tell you. One is rectify, one is retain, one is remove. Okay. So you just keep practicing it, right? Just keep revising it. Then also we have learned about masking. What do you mean by masking, right? So if you have a data set and you are doing outlier treatment, and upon that treatment, you found out that some of your outliers are still there. It's not being treated. So it's called masking. Outlier exists, but you fail to detect, right? And what is swamping? Swamping means like those which are not the outliers that also you are detecting as outlier. Okay, so this is swamping. Again, what is vinsorization? We discussed about that. Vinsorization means uh, the outliers which are at minimum values. We discussed about that box plot. If you would remember that, if the outliers is basically below the minimum value, so what we will do? We will just replace those outliers with the 5% of our values. Okay, 5% means which is between 0 to 5% at. And if the outliers are on the maximum side, so what we will do? We will replace with the right hand side 5%, means like from 95 percentile till 100. Okay, so basically these are outliers. You can see the techniques here, how we can go. And also we discussed about the Gaussian limits, how we can discuss, if you would remember, capping the outliers. Okay, capping method, we have written there Gaussian, IQR, then we have written fold, then uh, we have written variables for which particular variable, tail. Okay, fold, we have written tail, written variables. So these all things we have written. If you should see the code, you can see here. Capping method is there, tail is there, both fold is there, right? Variable columns. We have discussed all things, right? And when we come about trimming, so trimming means like we are simply removing the outliers. It's just same as the trimmers. If you would see that your hairs have been grown, so what you do, you don't remove the whole part of your hairs, right? You just trim whichever is grown badly, right? So hair trimming also means the same, right? Okay. And also we discussed about these missing values, how we can handle. Oh no, missing values we discussed about. No, imputation we haven't discussed. We will discuss after this. Imputation we haven't discussed it till now. We discussed about discretization. What is discretization, or you can call it binning, or you can call as grouping, right? So we have discussed this thing again. What is discretization? If we are going to convert our numerical data into categorical data, right? So for that thing, we are doing discretization, and also we have discussed about binarization. In binarization, what we do, right? We have discussed all these things. Just go and watch the binarization. What do you mean by that? Rounding nearest value, right? And binning, fixed with binning and adaptive binning. What is fixed with binning and adaptive binning? We discussed about that. Fixed with binning means what? Fixed with binning, like the binning which we are doing it. In that case, we are not doing as a continuous, right? For example, we are doing some with whole number. We can talk about that. 2, 3, 4, 5. We are just assigning the binning values like that. But in adapting binning, we are deciding a range is there from 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 30 to 40, right? We discussed about that. And yesterday and day before, we discussed about dummy variable creation. In dummy variable creation, we discussed about one hot encoding. Again, in dummy variable creation, basically it's like we are converting our numerical data. What is encoding? We are converting our numerical data into categorical data, right? We discussed all those things. What is one hot encoding, right? In what do we do in one hot encoding, right? In one hot encoding, what we do, we convert the data. We simply convert the data, and uh, the number of features, the number of dummy variables which we are creating, that depends upon the number of categories or variables which is there inside a particular feature, right? So if there are three features, okay, for example, sex is there, right? So basically, ge- uh, so it is either male, female, or you can talk about others. So three variables are there in that column, okay. So what you will do, you will create three columns as male, female, and other. And if there are more than three features, two features is also there. You can take only male and female if some data set has that as well. And also if there are 4 to 5 variables having in that particular feature. For example, in cars data set, we discussed about we have cars of petrol, diesel, EV, CNG. Four features are there. So what we will do, we will create four different columns and I will create those. So these all things we discussed on one hot encoding. We also discussed about label encoding. What is label encoding? Label encoding or ordinal encoding. Okay. So basically we are converting our data in the orders of rank. Okay. And what is ordinal data? Ordinal data means the data which holds the rank. We discussed about that. Okay. The school set, if you could remember, just go and watch my previous video. the schools, the military ranks, right, the corporate ranks, right. So basically, we discussed about all those in the yesterday session, that what is basically level encoding and what do you understand by level encoding, okay? And today, what we are going to do, we are going to just uh, discuss this with the help of the code. So we can see here how we can import one hot encoder or label encoder, right? We have to just write here from sklearn.preprocessing import one hot encoder, right? So we will write those, and first what I will do, I will just open my spider. You can see your spider is there. Okay. So again, why spider? Because again, it's a bigger friendly tool. It helps us you to, it works like basically a repo. So if you are a beginner, then I would suggest you to use Spider. But again, if you have some knowledge of that, so either you can go with Jupyter Notebook or VS Code as well, right? So again, it's up to your choice. But as a beginner, I would suggest you this. Okay, I personally use VS Code, but I would suggest Spider because you can learn various things pertaining to this, right? So what I will do, I will just run this particular file. Okay, why I had run it, because I want to define my variables. Okay, if you could go here, my variable explorer, you can see your df, and these all things we discussed about that, right? So now what we are going to do is, we are going to just create the dummy variables. Okay, so first what I will do, I will just try with removing my, okay, okay, I will just write here, I will just write here creating dummy variables for categorical data in a, for category columns in a data frame, right? So what I will do, I will write pd dot get dummies function. Okay, I will write pd dot get dummies. Okay, I will write here df, and if I'll run this, okay, so you can see here it gives us the boolean value. Okay, boolean value for what it's giving, basically the string data. Okay, if you will see it, if you want to see what is the data type contained in your variable, so what you will do, obviously the function is pd dot info function. Okay, and with the help of this, you are able to get the all those, what type of basically, sorry, not basically pd dot info, pardon me, df dot info. Yeah, so if I will execute this line of code, you can see here the object. You can see here, this is the object. Okay, uh, you can see here category 1 is there, floor 6 is there, object 3 is there. So wherever there was object category, it created into true or false, right? So basically whatever things were there is created into true or false value. So you can see here it does for basically the functions it returns what it does. Let me increase the size. It returns the Boolean value pd.get dummy. You can see here how it's returning the Boolean values true, 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 false, 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 false. So it returns like this, right? And if I will create a new data frame, okay? If I will create a new, let's store this particular value in my new data frame, okay? So I will write here new dir, okay? And I will execute this line of code, okay? And if I will open this particular data frame, so if you could see here, all this, let me increase this size, okay? So if you could see here, okay? Basically all those for each particular date, it is creating a dummy variable. For each holiday flag, it's creating us a dummy variable based upon the number of features we are having, that particular numbers of columns you can see here. Okay, you can see your holiday flag number. Okay, if you want to see what is holiday flag number, okay, so if I will just open this, my initial data frame, so you can see here in holiday flag number, two features were there, yes and no. Oh, sorry, two variables were there, yes and no, in my particular holiday flag feature. So for that particular reason, two columns got created. And if I would open it, you can see here my new dir. Okay. If I will scroll you to the right, you can see here holiday flag, no, holiday flag, yes. So it is basically these two dummy variables got created. True, false, false, true, false, true. So wherever it will be true, 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 it's true. Okay. And how it's true, for example, how it's basically printing this, right? So let's discuss about that. Let's discuss about how it's getting printed, why the column is showing particularly like this, right? So what I will do, wait a second. Okay. So basically, if I'm, this is my column. Okay. Uh, what was that column name? Let me open it. Holiday flag. Okay. Holiday flag was my column name. Just give me a second. Okay. Yeah. So if we are having a column name as holiday flag, or let's take a box here so that we will understand it better. Okay. Holiday flag is there. And if I, and here, if I will write it, holiday flag, it will hold the true value. Okay. And here again, if I'll write it, holiday flag, it will hold the false value. Okay. So why I'm explaining this for you guys to understand basically what's particularly there, how it's coming there, what's the logic behind it, how did we get those? Okay. And if my value is here, for example, y is there, yes. If basically we're writing true or false, I've written there. So basically t is there, t, true, f for false, then again here true, then again here false, then again here true. Okay, so basically these are all my values. Put again here true. Okay, so these are all my values. So you would see here, this is true, 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 this is true. Okay, and what is true, false, false. Basically, it's taking and true and true, true, true and false, false, false and true, false. Okay, false and false, false. True and true, true, true and false, false. Here it will be false. My bad. Here it will be basically true because you are satisfying the data. Okay, basically false, false. The value will be true. Okay, and here it will be false. Here it will be true. Okay, it's just like the same thing. Okay, if I will share the screen of what we have seen it a day before yesterday. Okay, if you see that, okay, if these things, huh? If you would see this, how that particular data came, you can see here petrol and petrol, it will return one, and diesel, it will be zero. For diesel, it will be one. So similarly, if it had been here true, so in true and true will return true. True and false will return false. False and false, it will return one true value. So for that particular reason is there. Okay. So now let's go back to our discussion. I mean, it's like, Let's go back to our discussion. So now what we will be doing, we will be creating dummy variables. We will be creating dummy variables, okay, for categorical columns and will be dropping them. Okay. So we will drop those. So how we will do this? So just be focused here. Okay. If I'll write here new df and I will write here same this thing. Let me copy paste it. The same thing pd dot get dummies df and I will be writing here comma drop first. Drop first is equal to true and dot as type as int 64. Okay. If I will execute this line of code, okay. So basically, I have some non-infinite values or NA. Basically, some missing values is there, right? So I haven't dropped those missing values. So for that particular reason, it's showing that. Okay. So first, what we have to do, we have to drop the missing values in that. And again, how would you drop those missing values? How would you drop those? First, you have to find that is there any missing values in your data set or not, right? So what I will write here df dot, what's the function for that? Is any dot sum. Okay. So you can see here one missing value is there. Here, four is there in holiday flag. Okay. Three is there, two is there. Okay. So what I will do, df dot drop, and if I will again execute this line of code, so let me see what is the missing values here. So I got this error. To write here df dot drop df dot drop, and I would write here employee name, employee. Basically what we have to drop. So let's assume we have to drop these columns. For example, let's take an example of weekly sales. Okay, so date. Okay, you write here date, and I will write here axis is equal to 1, and in place is equal to true. Why you are writing here in place? Why we are writing this? We are writing because this should implement in our real database. If we will not be writing in place, so the change will not occur in our real database. Okay, so if I will open this, you can see that our database has been, means like this particular column has been dropped, right? So if I want to import it, like I want to undo this operation. Okay, okay. So basically here we have discussed it till now. Tomorrow, what we will be doing, we will be just discussing about the one hot encoding, how we perform that, and also we will discuss about transforming the categorical column into one form to another. Okay, with the help of transformation. So till then, you guys just keep practicing it. Take any data set, keep practicing it, right? And unless you don't practice, you will not learn much. So at least thousands lines of code every day. Okay. So see you tomorrow at the same time. Till then, bye bye. Take care. Jai Hind.